at the end of the day, content is king, right? But platform and technology is queen, right? Like now, the platform and the capabilities of the platform can often outsmart what any kind of content strategy you might have. Because at the end of the day, if the user experience is not enjoyable, if the user experience is not engaging, if the user experience is lacking in any way, it often doesn't even matter what kind of content you're buying or you're spending money on. If the app's going to crash, customers are gone.
Hi everybody, for today's episode of Retention Zone, the video podcast focused on streaming monetization, I have the pleasure to have with me Noha Jadallah from Dubai, I think.
Yes, it's so nice to be here. Thank you very much, Carlo.
And so tell me about your journey to where you are now in the media business.
Sure. I think it all starts with the obsession with TV. Since I was a kid. I spent many hours glued in front of the television. My mom blamed my loss of eyesight to staring too much into the TV too close. I went on to study film, television, and media studies at university. This is back in New Zealand. I am originally Arab, but I grew up in New Zealand and did university there, and my first 10 years of work experience also there. Started my career at Sky TV and worked in multiple large networks since then. I think I still look young, but it's been almost 20 years of experience within the industry, and been doing primarily content programming and content marketing functions. Of course, initially within the linear TV business, broadcast, and then moved quite quickly along with the industry into streaming. I moved back to the Middle East, coming up to 10 years ago now. Took a post in Al Jazeera, which was kind of a dream job for me at the time, but quickly found myself locating to Dubai. And I've been here for a long time since, working within a range of different roles, initially still within the presentation, scheduling, linear TV scheduling side. Really, I've got so much background when it comes to linear television that is my bread and butter. But quickly moved to streaming and took a role with OSN, which is one of the big streaming services, big broadcasters in the MENA region, as head of content for the application, for the streaming app. I saw the launch of Disney Plus app locally, and this was during the first wave of pandemic lockdowns. It was quite a challenging time. I also moved to a more technology-focused company with Huawei and helped launch a product called Huawei Video, leading it for the MENA region. Did this for a couple of years, and now I am working with one of the largest telecommunications companies in the world, E&, within the content arm of E&, which acquires, distributes content and technology to a number of telcos regionally, and also owns a majority share in Stars Play, which is a MENA streaming service. For that, I'm currently heading the programming and planning department. And within that small team, we look after essentially the programming and planning needs for a number of different platforms across the region, ensuring that there's a tie between what is acquired and what is then sold onto or displayed to the customer through strategic curation, as well as providing the right tools for marketing and ad sales services. That's kind of me in a nutshell.
Wow, quite a dense experience, and clearly content is at the center of everything. Quickly, how do you think what you're doing with content is different from the beginning or the linear more world and today? Is it a different job or partially?
It's simple how technology transforms the way we watch content or the way we absorb media around us. So I've had the pleasure of working on TV at a point where HD just came to light, right? I started back then, but moving quickly through to now have had experience working with short form content even, and AVOD and fast content as well. So it's moved quite rapidly over the last decade or so. But a lot of the same logic still applies. And I think one of the key things that has always driven consumption of TV is localization. And the biggest aid towards that is the technology that enables us to provide content, whether acquired in any language, in a way that is palatable and understood by audiences of a range of nationalities. It's quite critical for us here in the MENA region, especially in the UAE. We've got over 200 nationalities residing here, and we need to be able to cater to them with unique experiences, but also with the uniformed localization approach to make sure that content is available for them in a way that they can understand it. Storylines can differ, and people's taste and what they like to consume can range quite differently, but there are things that are universal. If there's storylines that will capture the hearts or the imaginations of people from across the world, this is the kind of content that anybody can watch if the right audio options, the right subtitle options are made available to them. And of course, with the technology today, the use of AI, for example, that will kind of enable this quick turnaround of language preferences is critical. So that's kind of one of the bigger shifts that I think has happened over the last couple of years.
But so going a bit more specific, how the cost of programming, which was clearly linear, so you have to package in a sequence, right? More or less the content, has transformed when you go to pure SVOD. I mean, after the Netflix revolution, if you want. It's more about how you place, how you personalize. How is that change? And then is fast coming back to the origin? I think so, but you tell me.
Fast is still in its infancy, especially here in the region. I'm quite proud of the fact that I'm working within one of the leading fast distributors in the region. And it enables you to turn around a channel within 2-3 days. Setting the same up on a linear feed would have taken weeks. But that's kind of the main advantage of fast, is it literally is also fast to turn around from an operational standpoint. But back to curation and display tactics that are used. Of course, we utilize recommendations which are driven by solid metadata. I think the region specifically within Arabic content and sort of not Western content coming from the subcontinent as well as the Arabic nations are a little lacking in terms of metadata and the enrichment that's involved. So here's where comes the challenge a little bit. As the platform distributor, we often have to enrich metadata, which is quite time consuming and quite expensive in most cases, to get it to the standard where a recommendation scenario can then deliver it to the right audience in an intelligent way. Most often we still have to revert back to using our expertise as to how to curate and how to display. But there are certain tricks that we're picking up and we're learning from giants such as Netflix, like the use of specific posters or changing the posters, and making sure it's targeted towards the right demographic of people.
So maybe in the balance between content and audiences and people are a bit more relevant maybe today than they were in the past, because in the past you didn't have exact data of consumption. So it was more art and science, but still I think in theory, we understand more about the people, the audience today than we did in the past. You think it's true or not
100%.
really?
No, of course, I agree with you. I started my career doing presentation scheduling for linear channels, and the primary way we always looked at it is a flow of content to make the experience seamless, so that when you're coming into an ad break, you're seeing commercials that are relevant to the piece of content that's playing, which is therefore relevant to the audience that the advertiser is looking for. And what promos you push across to the same audience should be relevant, same genre, same kind of preferences. Now, kind of the same tactics are used to push recommended content across to similar audiences, but we're obviously trying to rely more and more on the technology to drive that, which is important. At the end of the day, content is king, right? But platform and technology is queen, right? Like now, the platform and the capabilities of the platform can often outsmart what any kind of content strategy you might have. Because at the end of the day, if the user experience is not enjoyable, if the user experience is not engaging, if the user experience is lacking in any way, it often doesn't even matter what kind of content you're buying or you're spending money on. If the app's going to crash, customers are gone.
Perfect segue to my next question, which is very much related to the name of this video podcast. The word that everybody is, fighting with is churn. So I'm just, as you've been in these roles in different organizations, clearly content is a big part of fighting churn or retaining users. Not alone. I think I've learned, talking to now more than 30 professionals for these episodes, that there are so many aspects of how you can prevent, fight churn or increase retention, etc. Have you been asked, hey, we have this, how do we fight churn content? You have to do this. Or what can we do with content? So from a content perspective, how can you help the platform, the client, the telco to retain customers, you think?
I mean, from my experience, we know for a fact that series are key in terms of retention. Long-running series keep a customer coming back. So we do, use particular content, especially long-running series. Like Turkish content is very popular in the region. So the more Turkish content you have, the more likely. And it's very, very long-running. Each episode is 2 hours long and it can go on for a long time. So you do definitely see customers who are enjoying specific titles continue on the journey. And just making sure that they have something else to watch next is critical. And of course, you have to cater for different kinds of people. So it's an ongoing acquisition strategy. And from a programming perspective, we make sure that each milestone within the year is fed with the right kind of content. This would equate to engagement, whether it's on social media or across other marketing opportunities, partnerships, and sponsorships that can happen, and just get more engagement out to. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question specifically towards retention, but making sure that within the calendar year, you're always addressing specific highlights. For us, the biggest acquisition boom and then retention fail thereafter is the month of Ramadan. And the month of Ramadan is the Holy Grail TV viewing month. And it's quite typical to see approximately 80% of the local production released within just that 1 month of the year. So huge investments happen, and a large amount of planning starts well in advance, with productions underway for content that is just for Ramadan. And the key is how to retain them thereafter.
Yeah.
You do get a spike. If you have invested in Ramadan specific content, and if you have focused on getting customers in at that time, a lot of streamers locally will offer massive discounts and hook people in with very, very promising content. But the challenge is that you need to retain them thereafter. And that is quite difficult, especially with Arabic content, because of the fact that most of the production, as I said, 80% of it happens for the season of Ramadan, and then it falls flat. So you don't have more seasons coming of the same specific content. You need to therefore figure out the same audience might also like maybe Western content, maybe Korean series, but making sure that it's localized, that it's made available to them in the right language, in the right formats, and with the right storylines that still resonate within the region.
And what about I mean, if you have to describe to someone like me that knows the region a bit but not enough, how would you describe the audience behavior in terms of subscribing, or the way they behave with SVOD? Are they in and out depending on the series they want? Are they more into AVOD, or they prefer SVOD? What is your view on that in the region, in the MENA region?
Now, I mean, I'm working predominantly on an AVOD service called Starzone. We launched Starzone in November last year as a free tier on top of Stars Play service, which is an SVOD service. And I don't think I'm biased in saying this, but AVOD is the key. Our biggest issue regionally, and I believe will be similar globally, is piracy. And the only way really to battle piracy for certain segments of consumers who are not willing to pay for content is to provide them with content that is curated for them, that is selected and made available for them in the right languages, etc., but for free, with ads being served, and allowing them to consume it in a way that is user-friendly on a platform that is engaging, is very much the key. And making sure that localized content is available on a platform that is free and accessible, I believe is the key to get them to therefore subscribe up or take a subscription up onto a package, or even come in for a sporting event.
Yeah,
we have the ICC Cricket World Cup on at the moment, and we've done quite well by offering a fast channel where we've essentially got the best of ICC matches from previous.
it's okay. Sorry. The cat agrees. The cat agrees on AVOD. Is an AVOD fan.
Yeah, we've seen quite a successful launch of that fast channel and conversions thereafter to watch the actual Cricket World Cup. So the key is to get them in perhaps on free content that is available, and for customers who wish to come in and watch a particular series, stay with the subscription, or come back down to the free service, but still be able to see what other premium content is coming on the platform through careful marketing and curation, that then allows them to come in and out of subscriptions. Okay.
But still be in the if you want to still be in the family, so still be reachable, addressable. Absolutely.
Exactly. And we're still making money with them, right? By with the advertisers on board.
Yeah, absolutely. So last question, as you mentioned, because even if we didn't agree the sequence, you're creating the sequence that I had in mind. Sport, you made a fantastic example. Do you see sport in the region in terms of streaming, etc., becoming a bigger player, a bigger content piece in going forward, or you think it's like it's okay, it's like that, and sport is okay, important, but that's it?
Sports and news are the main reasons linear TV still is alive. Right. Sport and news is the primary consumptions. The primary consumption on linear TV, particularly in this region, relies on these two forms of content. But of course, sports is premium. And to reach sports, most people understand that you need to pay to watch. Obviously, still a huge problem is piracy within the region, but more and more content providers are making sure content is coming off illegal websites on a daily basis. But it's like, what do you call it, whack-a-mole, game of whack-a-mole. It's very, very difficult. And so again, enabling customers to come in and watch specific leagues on perhaps different platforms. Like with the Olympics coming up, we need to be able to make sure we're allowing the 200 nationalities within the country to be able to watch the teams of their nations, through the Olympics. And it's quite a challenging one because free-to-air rights are very limited. And it's a tricky one, to be honest. I mean, we obviously, BN takes most of the rights of all sports in the region, but our strong focus has always been with the cricket on Stars Play, and we also have UFC and other football leagues that are key drivers of acquisition for our platform. And we kind of, in a sense, bring them in because of major sporting events and try to retain them at the same time by providing the same audiences with the right kind of entertainment content that they will enjoy.
Okay, so thank you in this very quick but deep content masterclass, because it's nice to talk to people that really have not only build strategies, but really operationally build product streaming platform and content like that, and brought it to an audience. So my voice is going down. Thank you to you, Noha, and your cat, which agreed with most of what you were saying. So you have an audience.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao. Bye-bye.